England have levelled the 2019 Ashes series 1-1 after winning the third test in Headingley by 1 wicket. Man of the match in the third test, Ben Stokes, hit an unbeaten 135 as England snatched an unlikely 1-wicket victory to keep their hopes of winning the Ashes alive. How good was this Stokes innings? Some are saying it is best fourth innings individual score, resulting in a win, better than Lara's 153 not out against Australia in Bridgetown in 1999 and Kusal Pereira's unbeaten 153 against South Africa in Durban earlier this year. Some are even saying it is the best innings they have ever seen. On Twitter, former England captain Michael Vaughan spoke glowingly of the innings. He said, "What a privilege to witness the greatest test innings I have seen, Ben Stokes, but more so, what a week for test cricket. Australia take a bow for your role in an amazing test match," the Yorkshire crowd. Also on Twitter, former England opener, the legendary Geoffrey Boycott, tweeted, "I've seen some remarkable cricket moments in my life, but that is the best I've seen in over 50 years. Ben Stokes saved the Ashes and gave a magical, inspirational innings, even better than his World Cup performance. Well done." Joining us on the phone is Fazeer Mohammed. Fazeer, welcome.
Good to be on the show once again, Mariah.
Hi. Okay, so we remember you were on radio commentary duties 20 years ago when Brian Lara scored that memorable 153 not out. Faz, how do you compare the two innings and can you declare which one you think was better?
Well, obviously I'll be biased by referencing the one in 1999 just because I was involved in it, but just because of all the drama that was associated with it. But I think, Mariah, what we need to understand is that in the immediacy of the moment, there will always be that feeling that what would have just happened would have been the greatest ever. And it's good that you mentioned Kusal Pereira's innings of 153 not out, because he featured in a last wicket partnership that won a match for Sri Lanka against South Africa where they scored over 80 runs for the last wicket against South Africa in Durban. And if you appreciate the quality of the South African attack and the fact that Durban is usually a fast bowler's pitch, you'd almost want to say that that innings is better than either Lara's or Ben Stokes. But what we also have to factor in is the moment and the occasion. When you're talking about the Ashes, you're talking about a full house. When you're talking about what happened with Kusal Pereira, maybe a couple hundred in the ground. So there would not have been that atmosphere. And also, as Lance alluded to, everybody's fixated about the Ashes, and that's why I have an issue, because I take Lance's point about the twists and the turns and the drama of the Ashes, but it is the most talked about and the most written about series simply because it's England and Australia and all the tradition. And I can certainly point out, and I'm sure he can point out as well, other series involving other countries where there would have been even more drama, but it didn't get the sort of attention. So it's not about pouring cold water so much on what Ben Stokes would have achieved. It's outstanding what he would have achieved, but it's automatically being hyped up as the greatest ever simply because it's the Ashes.
All right, so as you mentioned Ben Stokes, I have to jump right into it. Do you think it was pure luck that Ben Stokes won this one?
Not pure luck, because I think Ben Stokes is a cricketer who believes in himself. If you understand the individual, I think that experience he had in Bristol a couple of years ago, which almost brought an end to his career when he was involved in a brawl outside a pub, and all of that he went through, he missed out on the Ashes series. England lost that one 4-0. He went to court, and I think that particular experience brought home to him that he was almost taking for granted this privilege of being an international cricketer. And make no bones about it, he is a phenomenal cricketer. He scored 256 against South Africa in Cape Town a couple of years ago. He's played some truly outstanding innings, and he is valuable with the ball as well. So I don't think you can say that it was just purely luck, but luck did play a part. And you've gone through those key points already. It's interesting that he, in that interview after the match, said that he was confident that there was no way he was going to be out LBW, even though the replay showed it was going to hit middle and leg. So again, that tells you, one, about the self-belief of the individual to the point where you're almost prepared to deny the facts or the reality. And yes, we might consider that a one-eyed way of looking at things, but one of the elements of greatness to a certain extent is that element of one-eyed selfishness where you look at it only from your point of view.
Yeah, Faz, when I watched the closing moments of that match, the obvious happened. My mind came rushing back to 1999 with that Lara innings and the obvious comparisons that would have been made with it. I remember you distinctly doing radio commentary to the finish of that match, Faz. I remember your words. I remember you setting the stage with the field placings and so on, and the brilliance that Lara executed in getting that win. But some of the comparisons drawn between the two innings would have been things like the quality of the bowling that Lara had to face, which was, we suspect, stronger Australia bowling attack then than the bowling attack that Ben Stokes faced in this victory for England yesterday. But what are the salient things that come rushing back to your mind, Faz, as commentator during that Brian Lara innings and the way he skillfully calculated that victory for the Windies?
And you said it perfectly, Lance, skillfully calculated. And I think that was the key point. There's so much tied into that. Because remember, Lara came into that test series on probation because the West Indies had lost all 5 test matches in South Africa, lost 6 of 7 one-days, and he was on probation for the first couple of test matches. The West Indies were badly beaten in the first, were bowled out for 51 in Trinidad. Then he got that double 100 to win the match for the West Indies in Jamaica, and then came that 153. And he was also still being booed when he came into bat towards the end of day 4, because for the second time he had chosen not to come in at the fall of a wicket and left the night watchman to go in, who got out, and then Lara had to come in. But on that last day, Carl Hooper got out early. The West Indies were 5 wickets down pretty quickly, and it's when he took control of the situation. And it's that duel with Glenn McGrath, that battle he would have had with McGrath, with Gillespie, with Shane Warne, with Stuart McGill, and the confrontations, the verbal confrontations, the wickets that tumbled along the way. Granted, there wasn't a big last wicket partnership, but he was also dropped by Ian Healy towards the end of the innings. So there was a tremendous amount of drama attached to it. You had the crowd, you had more and more fans coming into the ground as the word filtered around Bridgetown that the West Indies were on course possibly to win the match. You had the last wicket partnership. So there was a tremendous amount of drama and high quality cricket in a fantastic atmosphere. And I think that's what all lent to the occasion on that time 20 years ago.
Yeah, and one of the factors too, Faz, would have been the difficulty of the pitch, because most of the other batsmen struggled with the pitch conditions. Lara was able to overcome that against, as you just mentioned, because Stuart McGill and Shane Warne were among the best spinners of that generation, and Lara had to face them, plus the fast bowling potency of McGrath and company.
Definitely, and it was interesting because Shane Warne didn't have a particularly good series. He had only 3 wickets over 3 test matches. This was the last one he played because he was dropped for the last test match in Antigua. They played a medium pacer by the name of Adam Dale. Together with Stuart McGill and Australia were able to win that last test match. But yes, you're right. You're talking about Australia at the very height of their powers at that time, because you'll have to remember that was the era of Steve Waugh, Ian Healy, so many others were outstanding players at that time. That bowling attack on its own, McGrath, Gillespie, McGill and Warne in itself, and a pitch, as you said correctly, it might not have been the most dangerous sort of surface, but it certainly challenged the batsman to really be able to put innings together, and the West Indies couldn't do it consistently. Sherwin Campbell got 100 in the first innings, but then they had a huge first innings deficit. The bowlers got them back into the match with Courtney Walsh with the 6-wicket haul on the 4th day, and then it all came down and unfolded so dramatically on that last day, with Lara taking the West Indies home.
All right, Faz, let's look a little bit at the Australians and how they performed on the field when they were under pressure. Yes, you have Pat Cummins, the #1 bowler in the world. You have Pattinson, this is his name, and you have also Hazelwood, and of course there is Nathan Lyon on the field. Just look a little bit at Tim Paine and his captaincy, because there was a particular moment in the test match when Nathan Lyon bowled a maiden over where he should have had the fast bowler, Jaffer, is it,
Archer.
Archer, sorry, just eluded me, sorry. Archer caught at bat pad. The ball went over the bat pad's head. It was an excellent over, and then he was taken out of the attack, and immediately Ben Stokes pulled the trigger and started hitting the balls all over the place. And the Australian bowlers at that time looked quite ordinary, including Pat Cummins. Now, what amazed me in all of this is the fact that Tim Paine challenge a decision of an umpire, an LBW decision of Leach, that ball was so obvious that it was miles outside of the leg stump, and it was also missing the leg stump. Do you think that the Australians dropped the ball in terms of pain and the way maneuvered this team at that stage in the game?
Definitely, and the thing is that it's always about operating in a pressure situation, and they might have felt, well, look, I don't think anything is going to be close again, so let's try a thing, as we would say in the West Indies, with that review, which was a wasted review, and they probably never anticipated that it would have come down to a situation where, as it turned out, you had Ben Stokes plumb in front LBW to Nathan Lyon, and Joel Wilson giving it not out, and Joel Wilson has been taking a lot of licks over 2 test matches, and even more so now with this particular district. But again, it brings us back to the issue that for international cricket, they make it appear that the only thing that matters is the Ashes. But in answering your question, yes, Australia dropped the ball. Literally, the catch dropped at third man, the run out missed by Nathan Lyon, the wasted review, the LBW decision that should have gone their way. So there were numerous opportunities, as Tim Pate said correctly, even though you would have obviously been hurting deeply. They basically threw away the match as well as brilliantly as Ben Stokes played.
Right. And that is why I said Ben Stokes was quite lucky, because I thought that so many things went his way. Yes, a brilliant knock. He hit so many sixes, and he maneuvered Leach at the end, and then it was just an incredible day. It's almost like it was tailor-made for him to just win it. And it's boiling over from the World Cup when he was there at the end. And I have to say that he was at the right place at the right time, and he capitalized on it totally.
And the right type of cricketer as well. It takes somebody with that. Again, I don't think we want to take away from the fact that it takes someone with quality, with the belief to be able to pull something off like that.
Yeah. Faz, as usual, great talking to you here on the SportsMax Zone, and we'll be in touch.
No problem at all. Take care.